charge of a jail, and you're going to tell the general population, well, if you can't get along, we're going to put you in one cell and you kill each other, and you're going to do the necessary paperwork after that. Well, then you're not capable of doing your work because you're not setting no example.
Your mother would have told you that if you and your brother were fighting and not listening to her instructions.
Yeah.
She would have told you that. Y'all kill yourself if y'all continue fighting like that.
She would have said that?
Yeah, that's a Guyanese saying. My grandmother would have told me that.
Well, that's
You've heard that before.
That's why we're dealing with fact and we're dealing with opinion. That's your opinion. That's not a fact.
No, that's a fact. That's how Guyanese,
no, it's not
that's how
fact.
Guyanese speak to people
no,
that are fighting.
No, it's not a fact. It's an opinion. Please don't insult my intelligence or try to put words in my mouth like you've did to other prisoners during this testimony.
That's taking it too far.
Right, sir.
You had a beef with Superintendent Pilgrim because Superintendent Pilgrim transferred you from Berbice.
No, I was transferred for a reason.
And the reason was because you misconducted yourself.
No, I didn't. I was transferred to go, I'm a shoemaker in jail.
Well, Superintendent Pilgrim is going to, a moment's indulgence, Your Honor. Sorry, you were saying something before I
The
asked
officer
the
in charge at the Lusignan prison was the second officer in charge at the Berbice Correctional Facility. Matron Evelyn Crandon. She knows me very well as a shoemaker in jail. She had some shoe to do for the officers, and she apparently remember, well, Patrick Narine is on Berbice jail. Let me contact the Berbice jail and get permission from Mr. Pilgrim, which she did. She asked Mr. Pilgrim if Mr. Pilgrim could send me to the Lusignan prison, and Mr. Pilgrim transferred me to the Lusignan prison.
Well,
Before I was left, before I left the Berbice prison, I was told by Mr. Paul James, Matron Crandon wants you to do some shoe for her. I said, okay, fine. And I was transferred to do the shoe. I never, at no time, had any problem with Mr. Pilgrim, or I've seen Mr. Pilgrim in interviews probably twice in the Berbice jail. I've never talked to him on the Georgetown prison. I haven't made a request to him on the Georgetown prison. I've seen him in the Berbice prison and asked him for a work. I've never had a problem with Mr. Pilgrim. We never, issue shows on record, I never had a problem with the officer.
you were sanctioned by Officer Pilgrim in respect of bartering. You were repairing shoes for inmates, and they had to provide you with certain contraband. You recall that those situations?
No, they haven't provided me with anything. I provide my own material.
You were sanctioned by Officer Pilgrim, Superintendent of Prisons, for contraband, and that is why you were transferred from the New Amsterdam prison.
No. I was lost of 28 days for talking about my ration. A report was written by Officer King. That before Mr. Pilgrim even took the jail over. My report was written on December of 2014. I've lost of 28 days. I've never got any disciplinary under Mr. Pilgrim administration.
Well, Superintendent Pilgrim is going to be here to testify, and he's going to testify that that's the reason why you were transferred.
No, I
from
was
the
not
Johnson
transferred
prison.
under any disciplinary record. I was transferred, and it was even brought to the director's attention, Mr. Carl Graham, while he made a visit to the Lusignan Correctional Facility, in the presence of the OC, Matron Evelyn Crandon, and the second in charge, Mr. Cameron. I request to see the medical, and Matron Crandon told the director, well, he came here, I asked Mr. Pilgrim to send him to do some shoes for me, and Mr. Pilgrim sent him, and he's assisting in the farm. So I wasn't transferred under no disciplinary action.
That's what your evidence is. Superintendent Pilgrim will be here.
Okay.
I'm going to put this to you as well. You never heard Senior Superintendent Samuels, Deputy Director of Prisons, issued any order to prisoners, no, to officers to lock the door and left them in there.
Yes, I did.
You would have heard, you said that you had a visual of Capitol Block A, or you could have seen Capitol Block A. You said you could see the door, right?
Yes, sir.
You could have seen the stairways leading up to Capitol Block A.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to suggest to you and put it to you directly that you would have seen Senior Superintendent Samuels and Superintendent of Prisons Pilgrim shouting to the top of their lungs for prisoners to come out voluntary. You heard that.
No.
You say you didn't heard Superintendent Pilgrim shouted to prisoners to come out voluntary?
Not on the A division, on the B division.
I'm going to suggest to you that it was A division. B division evacuated itself voluntarily.
Mr. Pilgrim went up with his gun and cranked his gun and give an inmate and all. This is the last warning I'm giving you.
Who you said did that?
Mr. Pilgrim, when he went up to the Capital B division, there's two steps, one to the A and one to the B. The steps there straight across. Mr. Samuels had a gun in his waist, and Mr. Pilgrim, when he walked up to the step of the Capital B division, I'd give the inmates, this is your last warning, and cranked his gun.
And you're the first inmate that testified before this tribunal that Mr. Pilgrim had a gun in his hands. No other person has given that evidence.
Yeah, Mr. Pilgrim did have a gun in his hand. Mr. Samuels had a gun in his waist.
So you did not see Samuels with a gun in his hands at all?
In his waist, not his hand. In his waist.
And so if somebody says Samuels had a gun in his hands, waving it around up and down, you would say that person was mistaken or lying?
Well, I can't say what they see, but I'm telling you what I see.
No, I appreciate that.
The gun were in his waist. I've never seen Mr. Samuels with a gun in his hand waving it anywhere in the yard or anywhere to any prisoner, but I saw it in his waist. Mr. Samuels was wearing a white hat, a white shirt, and a blue jeans. This whole entire massacre was taped by Officer Lykin. The whole entire thing was video by Officer Lykin, and the video could show that. But of course not, you would not see every step that took place, because somewhere down the line, the prison official is going to cut their part out.
Those are all my questions for you, sir. Thank you very much.
Mr. Narine?
Yes.
Take a deep breath. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Need some water? I just have one question for you. On March 2nd, how many times did you see prison officers run into the yard?
Quite a few times.
When you say quite a few, how many times?
Approximately, not the same officers back and forth, but I've seen officers coming towards the front, towards the Capital A division where the fire occurred.
How many times you saw officers coming into the yard, onto the tarmac during that night? Once you saw them come, twice? How many times?
I saw them twice.
Saw
Twice,
them
I
come
would say.
Twice?
Twice.
On different occasions?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times did you see or did you observe the fire service come that night?
I observed the fire service when they came in and they stood there for a while.
Okay, so once.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you said that you saw the officers come in at least twice,
Yeah.
why do you think they came in twice?
Why do I think they came in twice?
Yes.
I can answer that question, why they came in twice.
Okay. But you said you saw the fire at the front door.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's all my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Narine, I have a few questions too.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to take another drink of
No,
water?
no, I'm
You're
okay.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, go back and recall the evening
Yeah.
of March 2nd.
Second.
Right? You said the fire started around, what time would you say the
I
fire
would say about
started?
6:45.
About 6:45. And were there any other fires on the evening of March the 7th, 2nd?
No, not that I know of.
Not that you know
Not
of.
that I know of.
Not that you know of.
No.
So just that one fire?
That I know of.
That you know
Yeah.
of? And what time did you sort of go to sleep on the evening of March the 2nd?
What time I went to
What
sleep?
time you went to sleep?
I normally go
More
to
or
sleep
less.
after 9 o'clock. I just listen to the radio station 94.1, and after the program finish, I go to sleep.
And you go
after
to
that.
sleep.
Yeah.
And you did so that night?
I'm sorry?
You did that
Yeah.
on the night of March
Yeah.
the 2nd?
Yes,
You
yes,
went to
ma'am.
sleep after 9, some minutes
Yeah,
to 10?
somewhere around there, yes.
And you weren't woken up at all during the night by any other sounds or smell of smoke or anything?
No, ma'am. No.
You're sure about that?
Yeah,
You're on the oath then?
yeah.
So to your knowledge, there was only one fire that evening?
That I know of.
Did you have, the following morning when you woke up, did you have any conversations with other inmates in Star War, in your division?
If I have any comments?
Yes, when you
Yes,
wake up, yes. you
yes, it's normal.
have. Okay, during those conversations, was there any mention of additional fires during that night?
No,
No additional fires at all?
no, I didn't, they
They
didn't mention anything to me or.
Okay.